Let's get some reaction now. Former Eskom Executive Manager Vally Padayachee joins us to share his thoughts on the possible permanent stages 2 and 3 load shedding for the next 24 months. And Mr. Padayachee, very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Permanent load shedding for the next 2 years. South Africans have been warned that they should expect the continued stages 2 and 3 power cuts for quite some time. What is your reaction to that?
Very good evening, Mpho, to yourself and to your viewers. I'm glad to be back. My initial reaction as an ordinary end user of electricity is obviously not good because it extends the inconveniences that we're currently expecting or experiencing with load shedding. So that's my initial reaction as an end user. But as a technocrat, as an energy professional, as a power generation engineer, and being very close to the challenges that Eskom generation is currently experiencing, I think we needed to get to this situation where there was a need to go for an extended load shedding, so that it would enable Eskom generation to have what we call in technical terms the headroom to enable Eskom maintenance to be done in a proper and adequate way. Just to unpack that very quickly, Mpho, what's currently happening at the moment is that Eskom's not, by their own admission, is not being given the opportunity to properly maintain the coal-fired fleet because they do not have what they call the headroom and the time available to do a proper maintenance. In other words, if a unit requires 5 months to maintenance, they're called back by national control, say within 2 months, 3 months, to put the unit back on the grid. So by having this extended load shedding, very simple terms, hopefully it allows Eskom generation the opportunity to get that headroom and to do a proper maintenance so that the energy availability factor of the fleet can be improved significantly.
What we heard just a few days ago, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Finance Minister Mpho Makwana saying that South Africa has a plan to improve energy provision that will end the need for any power cuts. His time frame was within the next 12 to 18 months. He went as far as saying that stage 6 power cuts could be a thing of the past within 5 months, as facilities are revamped and measures such as demand management take effect. In considering the time frames announced by the minister and what we heard today from Eskom Chair Mpho Makwana, could there be a misalignment of plans?
I wouldn't say there's a misalignment of plans. I think it's how you interpret the plans. I think what the Minister of Finance could be indicating, and obviously I don't have, I'm not privy to the details of that, but I don't think when you say 5 months, it's to get the total, let's say 4,000 to 6,000 megawatts that we need to stop load shedding. I think it would be a progressive means to get that megawatts. So 5 months obviously is not a time scale that you can stop load shedding with the megawatts. But if you look at what the chairman of Eskom had indicated from their plans, and if I look at what the NERCOM had presented in their updated energy plan yesterday, there are significant measures being put into place, and I've got the plan in front of me here, the roadmap to end load shedding. But it wouldn't take 5 months. It will take at least 2 years by the media briefing today. At least 2 years. I think it will take even longer to stop load shedding. Because just very briefly, Eskom indicated today they need to get to 60% energy availability factor by end of March 2023, a couple of months' time, then to 65% by March 2024, and 70% by March 2025. That's to stop load shedding. But I don't believe it will address the national energy security of the country.
And the Power Utilities Chairman, Mpho Makwana, also spoke a lot about creating predictability, the importance of it, saying that the permanent load shedding will all form part of Eskom's plan to increase its energy availability factor to a point where it could stop load shedding. What then would it entail to get to that point? Is it a matter of a balance between technicalities or boosting funding? What does it entail?
I think it's a combination of those two factors and even other factors, without bringing the people factor as well. But the technical imperative is very important. I mean, the bottom line in Mpho is that they've got to get the maintenance right of the fleet, and they've got to get to that magical figure of 70% rather sooner than later. And of course, you need funding for that, because the generation business is a capital-intensive business and an asset-intensive business. So those two parameters are absolutely important, but it's to get the maintenance correct. And as we discussed earlier on in this interview, the extended load shedding gives them that opportunity to get that headroom right.
On Friday, the Special President's Coordinating Council sat to discuss the energy crisis, and we heard the presidency saying that, it shows that President Ramaphosa is indeed taking it seriously. And we also saw that Western Cape Premier Alan Winde also wrote to Ramaphosa this week asking for transparency and urgency on the country's energy crisis. How much closer do you think today's announcement brings the nation towards some level of transparency?
I'm quite comfortable that between the NERCOM and the Eskom media releases yesterday and today, and I'm also quite close to the NERCOM structures with respect to the solutions, I'm quite comfortable that, and especially the NERCOM and the presidency, has been more than reasonably transparent in these initiatives. And I'm also quite comfortable, just to take the opportunity, that the plan, the updated plan reflected yesterday, is a transparent plan. It's a plan that could work. And maybe Mpho, just to take the other opportunity, I know we are quite impatient for good reasons to stop the load shedding, but it's the nature of this beast. As I say, it's a capital-intensive business, asset-intensive business. You cannot solve this problem overnight. And I can tell you the NERCOM is working significantly flat out, and I've been close to some of those initiatives trying to get this thing solved. And it's a landscape, a business that where, although you want to push the decision making, but the execution and implementation of those decisions, most of them are couched in regulatory and legal aspects, and those take long. But I can tell you that there's significant effort being put in by the NERCOM, and of course Eskom is fully aligned from my interaction with them with the NERCOM plans. So just to answer your question, I'm comfortable that the plans put in yesterday and today by the NERCOM and Eskom are more than reasonably transparent.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this conversation. Let's leave it there for now. Vally Padayachee, former Eskom executive manager, speaking to some of the developments announced today around the load shedding, stages 2 and 3, the possibility of stages 2 and 3 being with us for the next 24 months.